you see a good-looking blonde out there?
Paralysis by analysis.
It's a good-looking blonde out there.
Is that going out?
Guys, but not here.
What, it did go out?
Now,
what he said?
Ever. This is the
That went out.
Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. A look
That's my
deep
wife.
inside
I
the
can tell
game
that, yeah.
from a former player's perspective. The Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA is brought to you by BCWSA, The Pines Tavern, Penn Community Bank. We now go live for the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. Now, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and former pitcher from the 93 National League champion Phillies, Tommy Greene.
All right, welcome to the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA, live from the CP Ranking Club. I am John Brazer, joined by my co-host Tommy Greene, of which you probably heard when he was talking through the song, not realizing it was going out, and he said something about a hot blonde. And just to let you know, if you did hear that, he was talking about his wife who's sitting across the table.
Directly in front of us.
Exactly right. So, Tommy, we got a great show set up for us right here. In fact, one of our guests just walked in.
Yes.
And I'm going to have a beer waiting for him at some point. But
Here it is, pal.
Tom, we are broadcasting live before a must game today after losing
must win. We gotta win.
Crushing game to the Mets yesterday. I'm sure you want to know. I don't think our audience wants to know, but I'll tell it for you.
I want to know.
But I know you want to know what I was doing when I was losing it.
Yeah, you happen to be behind closed doors, right, in your office.
Well, no, it was open doors, unfortunately.
Okay.
But we will talk about the great pitching performance by Zach Wheeler.
Yes.
We'll talk about the lackluster hitting by pretty much every Philly other than Kyle Schwarber, and we'll talk about the bullpen implosion by three of our normally reliable relievers. And we'll try to give you some optimism for today. We'll go around the other playoff games that started. We'll have on several guests. We're going to have Anthony Sanfilippo from On Patterson Snow, the goalie, and Up Phillies. We've had him on before. We're going to have Jason Firestone, who's coming here from Aramark, who's bringing a big turkey leg. He's bringing a Tommy Greene's favorite. It's a turkey leg the size of his head.
Yes, I'm all about them turkey
bourbon
legs,
and
man.
brown sugar infused.
Oh, my God. Diabetic nightmare on the outside.
Well, speaking of diabetic nightmare, we're also bringing a Manco and Manco apple pie pizza. So I don't think you're going to be trying that.
Look, you got the best in shape guy here sitting beside us over here.
We're going to be bringing him up in 2 seconds because we're also going to have on. Let's just bring him on right now because we are going to get you set up for today's game against the Mets. A huge start for Christopher Sanchez.
Yes. We'll
give you the lineup. A surprising person is not in the lineup. We'll go through that. And we'll talk a little bit about the other playoffs. But let's bring on our man right here. No one better to cheer us up, Tommy.
Yeah, I know.
Than former Flyer and radio broadcaster right now for the Flyers, Scott Harden. What's up, Scott?
Oh, I'm bringing the energy tonight. I'll tell you that much for free.
Can you bring us a win too? Because we're desperate right here.
Very desperate. Tough to not finish off that game yesterday, but I think this stadium's going to be rocking tonight. They back the Phils, win or lose, and must win tonight in my opinion. So I think they're going to be hitting balls, getting balls in play, and this stadium's going to be a rocket.
All right, so let me ask you a question. You grew up in Alberta, right?
Yep.
Grew up in Alberta. You got drafted by Nashville. You played for the Flyers, obviously. Played for the Blue Jackets.
Yep.
So you have no love lost for New York teams, right?
Oh, I hate them.
Every single one. Right?
Give me some of
double
that.
pound.
Because you played against the Islanders and the Rangers throughout your whole career, right?
The worst.
The worst. The fans are the worst.
Friggin' Mets.
Right?
They're a different breed. Let's talk about talk about like that. It's tough. I love going into New York and ruin the Rangers nights. Going on the island, to a half sold out Coliseum there in Long Island and ruin their nights with a good game. So it's all about having fun and obviously the sports right now are just through the roof. The amount of people are eyes on these games and everything. So big players come in big moments. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right, now the cool
I'm
thing.
looking for them to wake up. Yeah.
Well, they better wake up.
The bats to wake up. That's what I'm looking for.
Now, Tommy, Scott got here in Philadelphia, arrived via trade with Kimmo Timonen, right?
Yep.
In 2007.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which was just the start. That was the first year the Phillies had made the playoffs since literally 1993, right? So you were right there. You were there during that big run.
Yeah, it was incredible. 2008, the playoff games, we were here. I think we had a suite for a bunch of the guys,
man,
and it was just so crazy. And then the parade in 2008, it was like, I'm like, maybe I'll go check it out. I lived in Second and Market, like Front and Market, there in old city, and I started walking up, and the parade's around the city hall there. and at like street like 5th, I'm like, can't even walk anymore. I'm like, this is nuts. So
That's nuts, man. It was unbelievable.
It gave us drive as hockey players to see a winning team in the city at that time, right? So it kind of pushed our level of, importance to be relevant, I guess.
Let me tell you about that parade because, I grew up in Philadelphia. I went to, believe it or not, the Flyers parade. I'm that old. Back in 1974, 75, I went to the Phillies.
He's next cousin to dirt.
Right. I knew the Dead Sea when it was sick. I went to the candles cost more than the cake. I went to the Phillies parade in 1980. Whatever. Obviously, but the 2008 parade. I remember we were starting from down on Delaware Avenue, and I was on a parade. I was on the float with one of the floats with a lot of the players, and I remember telling them, I said, "You guys aren't going to believe what you're in for." And, I'm just saying that because I grew up in Philadelphia. I know how crazy it is. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be great. Fans were, awesome. Well, they had no idea because we start pulling up on Callow Hill. And first of all, let me go back. Dave Montgomery, God bless Dave Montgomery, was the best. And Dave Montgomery kept saying in these meetings, we got to put porta potties on these floats. Now I'm thinking, I'm thinking this is going to be like an hour parade, right? We don't really need porta potties. Well, I didn't realize it was going to be like a 3-hour drive through Philadelphia because we had to stop with all the fans. And thank God for Dave Montgomery because, I wasn't going to celebrate on this because all the players had their own beer and whatever.
They had coolers and
next thing you know,
you need a porta potty.
when we were coming up Callow Hill, Scott, it was basically like we had just liberated France. We had people out the windows crying and waving flags, Philly stuff, and they were hoisting cases of beer and hoisting wine bottle and hoisting bottled tequila and vodka. And next thing you know, we basically have like more than Fred's Liquor.
A small bar.
A small bar in there. So next thing you know, thank God for Dave Montgomery because I was thinking that guy's a genius because the porta potty.
He was a genius.
I must have used that about 20 times during the whole thing. So, yeah.
That's all good.
My only experience was living through Chemo Tiemann, and a good friend of mine that went to Chicago his last year and won Stanley Cup for the Blackhawks. And same thing, they had these buses, and they obviously had bathrooms in there, but he'd be like, Scott, it was unbelievable. I would look to one side of the street, and he goes, I'd lift my hand like this, and the crowd was starting. And then he'd look to the other side of the street and lift it, and they were louder, right? Just like the entertainers do during a concert or whatever. And it's just like, holy shit, man, that's awesome.
Now, did you get to know some of those guys then, like around sorry, Tom?
That's all right.
Did you get to know some of those guys during that run, like J-Roll and Ryan and Chase?
Cole Hamels, hung out with him a couple nights. He had a couple charity events that I went to, and met some of the guys. Just different schedules, right? We're gone in the summertime. We're there here grinding, and then when our season starts in the fall, they're gearing up for their playoff run and all that kind of stuff. So didn't really chum around with them that too much, but played golf actually this year with Stubbs.
I saw him.
Stubbs.
I saw him. That's where I first saw him here this summer.
Laughing at me.
Yeah, we were laughing at probably each other.
This is a nice shirt you got from that event, huh? Michael Barkhan's event.
Tommy gets most of his wardrobe from
do.
Golf events.
Yes, I do.
And he gets me free stuff too, because a lot of times I golf with Tommy, and if you golf with Tommy, you're probably going to win.
No, that's not the way it is. We've won a few, but it's going downhill now. We're getting old, Brazer.
It's not going downhill. Still got it. Hey, Scott actually witnessed one of my. We played in a charity. It was Ruben Amaro's tournament, right up in Bucks County, and Scott was the foursome behind us. And I wasn't really playing particularly well, but on this one, he was actually watching my drive, and it was a par 4, and I think it was like probably 270
270
over.
Clear. 270 I'll give you that. I'm not going to exaggerate. It's 270.
270 to clear the creek. And then the green is right there. I bombed it, and it just barely. It was perfect because it just barely cleared the creek, hit the rough, but it bounced up, and then it softly kind of rolled about 4 feet to the cup. And
my God,
it actually looked like it was going in because we were on the green right beside their tee box, and I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna go in. So we're like, go in, and it went behind the.
Yeah,
so you had a little bit downhill putt coming back at it, but we're like,
and he comes running at me gives me a big chest bump.
We were all hooting and hollering.
It was awesome.
That was actually incredible.
We used to have back in '93. The 10 year I was here, 90 through 95. I know there was a few years Lindros used to come and hang just in the clubhouse. I mean, in the training room. He'd come later at night. He just A couple times he'd come over and hang a little
Have
bit.
a couple beers,
Yeah, have a little pop with the foam on top. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. He was a big old boy too.
It's cool that all the sports can kind of interchange and everyone knows what each other's going through, right? There's different pressure obviously on different players and things like that, but the grind it is to be a professional athlete, right? You got to be committed, you got to be dialed in the off season, right? And
you got to do your due diligence.
Yep.
Does it change like when you guys are in the playoffs? Obviously, you're in the World Series. Do you guys get fans? I think are more nervous than the players. Players obviously can control it, and they're focused, and that's their job, right? And for us, we can't.
Once you get into the situation, get into the game, I know as a pitcher, once I throw that first strike, it's like game on.
Game on, right?
I mean, it's everything else is. it's back to normal. It's like back pitching in high school again, like you've done a million times before, type thing.
It is wild, right? Like you think about, I'm watching my son grow up, and
you get more nervous watching your son
watching him play, but I can see him get a little timid or a little shy or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can skate just as fast as all these other kids that he's skating with. I'm like, why are you acting? He said, Dad, I'm just a little nervous, right? But when for me and for yourself, Tommy, it's once the national anthem, when Lauren Hart's done singing her thing, God Bless America,
right.
And you get out there and you lay a body check or you get a
that
shot.
That first one, and let's go.
And it's not even baseball. I think would be a little bit more nerve-wracking than hockey, where it's like a lot of sit down and think about what you did or whatever, right?
You're continuously.
You're just
banging.
in it. You're just You're just recovering and trying to get all that kind of stuff. So it's I don't know. It's a different sport anyway.
Does your trash? You're literally could be in the Hall of Fame for trash talking, right? You and Keith.
Love it.
You and Jonesy, right? There's probably a couple other guys that could be in there. But does your trash game basically ramp up during the playoffs?
You have to have it on, right? And it gets in people's heads.
I can only
too.
imagine, man, what goes on.
You don't go offside stuff, right? You don't go down the family road or this or that. It's just kind of a stupid play that the guy just did the shift before, and you're like, oh my God, that was the worst play I've ever seen. You're brutal. I'm gonna take your head off.
Do you watch that show, Shoresy?
I've couple episodes I haven't got into seasons yet. That guy's absolutely priceless. We weren't to that extent, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah, that's going a little overboard.
Hey, Anthony.
All right. So, well, Scott, thank you very much for stopping by,
brother.
So
always.
But please bring us a win. I know you're going to be here with your wife, right?
Good mojo.
We need this game. And
I'm feeling it. I had a couple beers earlier with some guys, in the parking lots, and it's just a little. I'm like, what's going on here, guys? Just because we lost yesterday, it doesn't have to be a Morgan here. Like, let's go. Let's have a beer. So.
We can go off on a 7 or 8 game winning streak.
We could.
Quick.
Got to turn it.
Big time.
We got to do it. So. All right. The great Scott Hartnell. Scott, thank you very much.
Sean.
Appreciate it.
Good to see you, pal.
Appreciate it.
See you on the course, baby.
By the way, a little plug, Tommy, is that you can hear Scott Hartnell on the Backstage of Burgoyne and Brazer podcast we did with him a while back. So
okay.
There you have it. All right, coming up in the show, we are going to talk Phillies baseball with Anthony Sanfilippo. You're listening to the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. We are live from the CP Rankin Club at Citizens Bank Park.
Community Bank, our commitment to helping our customers and communities grow and thrive drives everything we do. Whether you are just starting out or setting new goals, we have the checking solutions that can flex to your needs at any life stage. And for a limited time, you can earn a $300 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offer subject to change. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
Energy costs are skyrocketing. Now's the time to upgrade your old heater and air conditioning systems to more efficient units to save on your utility bill. Harris Comfort can also handle all of your propane needs, as well as providing sales and service on a whole house generator. Harris Comfort is still family owned and has been serving our area for over 60 years, providing sales, service, installation, and peace of mind. Call 215-788-4596 or go to harriscomfort.com. Harris Comfort, still family and still local.
This is Tommy Greene from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. And here's the pitch. BCWSA water and sewer customers, you have a new and improved option to pay your bill that's convenient, reliable, and secure. Powered by Invoice Cloud, you can pay your bill 24/7 online, pay by text or phone, or sign up for autopay to avoid fees for late or missed payments. Visit bcwsa.net to sign up or for more info. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, prove it.
We now return to the Baseball Insider Show, presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and former pitcher from the '93 National League champion Phillies, Tommy Greene.
All right, we are back to the Baseball Insider Show, presented by BCWSA. We are live at the CP Rankin Club at Citizens Bank Park. I'm John Brazer, joined by my co-host Tommy Greene. And Tommy, you can listen to the show on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, your station in Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer County. We're live at WBCBsports.com or search WBCB Sports on YouTube. Also, Tommy, consider a career at Septa.
I will.
In fact, I took Septa down. Yesterday I got here early.
Well, we want to talk to you about that anyway. We might be starting to, how do we get down here? Because I've never taken a lot of the railways down.
Well, yeah, it's very easy because I took actually I drove down here, but I got down here really early and I had time to kill. So I had to go into the city to drop off something. So I took the subway right down there, did my thing, had lunch at Rouge. I figured it's Red October. Rouge is French for red. So I figured they're going to win because I had a burger at Rouge, but that didn't work out.
Yeah, and I pulled up in the ballpark today, and I could have parked in the same parking spot I parked in yesterday, but I didn't. I pulled into another one over there on the front line.
Okay.
Over in Peace. So I'm trying to change the mojo, too.
You got you got it. Yeah, good. And I'm wearing, I shaved.
I was noticing
I wore
the
a
clean
different
face.
hat and different shoes and all that. But, Tommy, consider a career at Septa. Again, I took that Septa yesterday, and some guy literally, maybe this is not going to help Septa, but some exploded and got away from it.
You were the Matrix
otherwise,
guy,
that would have been bad. But consider a career at Septa. Septa's hiring a variety of skilled trade positions, including mechanics, electricians, plumbers, masons, painters, carpenters, welders, millwrights, and more. As a Septa employee, you'll earn competitive compensation, great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription, and pension. Visit jobs.septa.org to apply today. That's jobs.septa.org. All right.
And speaking of the CP Rankin Club.
Craig Rankin right there. Look at that. He's getting some hats right there, CP Rankin. But right now we also have, I mentioned we have Anthony Sanfilippo. We've had him on before. On Patterson Snow, the goalie, up Phillies. Did I miss anything?
Well, it's actually called Crossed Up.
Oh, Crossed Up.
It's the Twitter handle's @UpPhillies. I didn't make the Twitter handle. It wasn't my call.
You got to change that.
It should be called @Crossed Up.
Crossed Up. All right. But
I think somebody else had that. That's why we couldn't go with that.
We've had you on before, Anthony.
Before you ask me a question, though, John.
You just saw Scott Hartnell.
The show is called Baseball Insiders, right?
Baseball Insider Show.
And yet you have Scott Hartnell and me as back-to-back guests. It's like it should be the Hockey Insider Show, right?
I'm naturally a hockey guy, right?
He's natural
I
hockey
grew up playing hockey. Was captain of my high school team, but then I had to quit about 9 years ago.
I can see the temperament in Brazer.
You
being a hockey guy.
You know what he was, Tommy? He had to be that kind of player that was, the little pesty guy that on the ice who used to drive people crazy, and other people had to come in and defend him.
We call those guys gnats.
I was like,
we call him a gnat.
I was like back in the day, kind of a Bobby Clark, stirring it up and letting other guys come in and defending me. I was also a trash talker. So in Scott Hartnell's mode, I was definitely a trash talker too. And I like.
There's some reason I could see that.
Yeah, and I like the corners. They called me Captain Crunch when I was little because I used to like to hit.
That's good.
So, yeah.
That's good.
So,
a little bowling ball.
Captain Crunch.
Little bowling ball.
I'm gonna have to start calling you Captain.
Anthony, we might have you on a little bit, but hold it. Well, I've got a really good idea.
Yeah.
Because Jason, I'm going to feed you right now. Jason Firestone's got a turkey leg and some apple pie pizza. Let's bring Jason. Come on up, but stay right here.
Yeah, I ain't going anywhere.
And give me your headset. So and while you're doing that, you can sample something, and then I'm going to bring you right back because we want you to talk about it.
Speaking of Fred Flintstone.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want Anthony to try the apple pie manco and manco. All right. And if you guys have a plate you could give Anthony while we're going to put you on? Do you mind? Do you have time? We'll talk
that
baseball.
works for me.
All right, perfect. All right, so let's bring on. Yesterday, when I was talking about a lot of the food items, I was talking about the s'more shake, the City Connect celebration shake.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And one of the big things I was talking about was
I ain't seen this.
apple pie manco and manco pizza.
I got to look at my blood sugar monitor. Hey, look at that, baby, man.
Look at that. You got. All right, describe what you got there, Jason.
All right, so we got fresh cinnamon sugar apples. We got caramel sauce, white chocolate sauce, and a homemade streusel with mango cheddar cheese and their signature crust. So,
wow,
so good. So
yeah,
good.
you know what? It sounds weird when you read it. Just went woo woo woo. It sounds weird when you read it, but now looking at it, it actually really makes sense.
It all plays. It's savory. It's sweet. It's so good.
All right, well, put a slice on a plate if you can for Anthony, because while you're telling us about the next one, I want Anthony to taste it so we can get back to him on this too. All right, perfect.
Oh, that's perfect.
All right, Anthony, dig in right there while we're talking. All right, while we also have Jason describing the next one.
Rub it in for me.
This is the one that we're going to have to share, Gus, over here. Because what is the next one? We've been calling for this for literally for 2 years. What do we got here?
Well, we had to bring back the turkey leg. It's a fan favorite, so we had to do it big for the postseason.
It's a TG favorite.
Yeah, so we found the biggest Fred Flintstone turkey legs out there with some bourbon brown sugar glaze. So.
Oh my God!
I mean,
I'm in heaven.
You brought this a year ago or 2 years ago, and Tommy and I were literally.
we were kids in the candy store. We just stayed here and
we didn't want to go back
to
the show. Like that is the greatest thing we've ever had. So, and I'm not gonna. I know Tommy's gonna want his own one. So
I'll share with you,
so
Brazer.
Gus and I will share that one. We're good. All right, Jason. Well, I can't thank you enough. That looks awesome. And how are all those things going?
Amazing. We're getting great feedback. Let's just hope for a dub today.
All right.
Yes, sir.
You heard it right there. All right, Jason Firestone, I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll be back next week to talk more food.
Yeah, that'd be great.
See you guys. Thank you.
All right. Now look at this. We have real-time food critic right here.
Real-time food critic.
Right?
We used to do a thing on Snow the Goalie called No Pucks Given, where we used to walk around the Wells Fargo Center and sample the food and then give it a critique.
Okay.
Right? So I'm used to this.
All right, good. So what do you got in your professional opinion?
It's unbelievable.
I mean, it looks really good.
It's unbelievable.
I could woof that whole thing right there.
When you first told me it was going to be apple pie pizza.
Right. It sounds incongruous.
Right. It didn't sound like it would work. I would put this with ice cream.
Okay.
Like I would go a little scoop of ice cream on and just like dip it in, or
well, sure. Could you put ice cream with apple, right?
Like apple pie a la mode.
Pie a la mode, right? Yeah.
But you would think with the cheese, but you know what? It's unreal. It's a fascinating combination, and I highly recommend it.
Now, if you're diabetic, it's probably not good, right?
Not
Tommy?
good. No.
I can't have a bite.
I can.
I think.
I can smell it and get what I need.
That's all you need to do is smell it, right?
I can smell the sugar and everything right here, pal.
All right. Well, I can't wait. All right. Let's get into it. So, well, first of all, I know you've worked very closely with Scott Hartnell, one of my favorites.
He's awesome.
Love that guy.
Awesome guy. Great, tremendous. He was great for us as the members of the media when he was a player. Like he would be a guy. He was one of our go-tos.
Right.
Like him and Danny Briere. You know, those guys were
Danny's another good dude.
Really good guys who got it, who understood what we had to do.
Right.
And so they were always available. They would always answer questions. They would talk to you when your recorder wasn't on, right? Just to kind of give you a little bit of background and things like that. Like just a salt of the earth. Great.
You got to have that. You got to have that when the mic's not on. You got to have that kind of communication. I know back in the day, ours was, I mean, really, I enjoyed Paul Hagan a lot.
Yes.
You could have that conversation with somebody, and that's where it stayed, right there.
Right.
I mean, because he was not just a reporter or doing his job. He was a good guy, ended up being a friend.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, you know, we come into the business, we're not trying to make friends with anybody particularly, right? But we do understand that, you know, we want you guys to trust us.
Yeah.
That we're going to report what's the truth.
Right.
And sometimes the truth can't necessarily be told publicly, but if you could give us a little bit of insight that's not going into the story, but it still allows us to shape the story the right way, then I think that's
all in trust.
And that's all in trust. And Scotty was a guy who was willing to give you that kind of trust.
And going back to that, too, like I know that from a Phillies perspective, that the guys that are, just as you said, Danny Briere, Scott Hartnell, the guys that played the game, understood that you got to build relationships and all that, those are the same guys for us that end up being guys that, you know, work for the team or radio announcers or do radio shows. You know, Kevin Franson, Larry Anderson, Kevin Stocker, Mickey Morandini, Milt Thompson, all those guys work with us or work for us or do different media type things because they were great guys and they understood it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, they absolutely understand it. And it's an important thing. And there's guys in this clubhouse, I won't necessarily identify them just, you know, to be fair to them, well, because they're still active players, but who are very much the same.
Right.
And that's a good thing. And it's not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. Nobody's talking bad behind anybody's back. Yeah. But they provide you with context.
Right.
that maybe you wouldn't have just watching the game from above. That that you sit there and you kind of learn, and so it kind of allows you to say, well, this is happening, but why is it happening?
Right.
And I think that that's an important part of it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little Phils right now. So yesterday, obviously, was a tough game. You had Zach Wheeler pitched his butt off. I mean, he pitched great.
You couldn't ask for
111
a
pitches.
Outing.
I knew in that first inning, everyone knew that his velocity was up a little bit. They were swinging and
lively,
missing.
man.
It was moving.
Yep.
And he knew he was in for a good day.
His day was historical in a lot of ways. It's going to end up, unfortunately, being a footnote because the Phillies lost, right? But in a lot of ways, it was historical. He has now done things that only one other pitcher has done. So, for example, just for the Phillies in and of itself, he's only the third pitcher to go 7 innings and allow 1 hit or less in a playoff game for the Phillies.
Right.
He's done it twice.
Yep.
The only other guy to do it was Roy Halladay when he threw the no-hitter.
Right.
So you're talking about rarefied air there. And, this is, I think it's 5 straight playoff starts with at least 6 innings, 2 runs or fewer, and 8 or more strikeouts. The only player who's done that more in entirety of Major League Baseball is Curt Schilling.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? It's the only one. He's tied with Sandy Koufax. Think about the names that you're kind of talking about here. He is a special, special pitcher. And it's a shame that effort was lost last year.
And that's the thing. I mean, you get to witness a little bit what happens after the game.
Yeah.
Now. You know what I mean? And then it's tough because nobody's going out there trying to fail and trying not to execute and do things. And I know we were thinking a little bit to some of the people we were talking watching the game last night. It was almost like, would you send Wheeler back out there to start the 8th, Because he was like 110 or something.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
in your era?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
In today's game?
Yeah. I mean, it was just because it was so, he had that one stretch where it cost him a bunch of pitches.
Yeah.
But besides that, he didn't have any struggles.
So what do you think his max is? I would say it's probably 120.
Something like that.
So
that's
only 9 more pitches.
But that gets you through.
Maybe get you another batter. Maybe
get you
two.
through. Yeah, it gets you through a batter or 2. That's all you need to get the first out. And the first out late in the game in the inning, 8th and 9th inning, are huge outs.
But in Rob's defense, I mean, you've got a fresh bullpen.
Yep.
You've got Hoffman, who's been lights out. You have all those guys back there.
I don't criticize Rob Thompson's decision one bit.
No. I can see why they did it. But
the thing of it is they go. I mean, after Alvarez gets on base, 5 consecutive hitters, they had an 0-2 count.
Right.
You got to put those guys away.
Right, and they did.
5 consecutive hitters, you got an 0-2 count.
Well, it's just, I mean, to me, it's why are you on the dish?
Yeah.
Why are you on the dish? It's the key. I think some of the keys to pitching is making pitches where it looks like it's going to hit the corner.
Yeah.
Then it's off the corner.
Well, that was the thing. Like I was the guy who asked Matt Strom about this after the game, and he's like,
just missing and making mistakes.
He's like, I didn't throw a ball, and I was like, I know. Like, but that's part of the issue to me.
They're too comfortable.
Right? Like you're throwing strikes, and sometimes you're going to give up an 0-2 hit, but you're coming into a spot where you can't give up a hit.
Right.
I mean, it's a tough spot for him to be in. Second and third, right? Comes into the game, but you get up 0-2 on those guys. Put a ball that's off the plate. See if they chase it. You need to get a strikeout. Putting it over the plate, you allow for contact and allows the runs to score.
We were in the minor leagues with the Braves. Just real quick, we keep charts and stuff, and at the end, the next day and stuff, we go. If you give up 0-2 hit, it costs you $5.
Yeah.
I mean, and when you're not making that much money, making $650, $700 a month, $5 over the course, you give up a few 2-out hits. I mean, 2 hits.
That's a problem.
But that was a big. It was a big deal back in there. You got to make it. Don't just waste the pitch, but
correct.
You got to make it look like it's going to be on the corner and make it even if he's just checking it, whatever.
Anthony,
it sets up something else.
You can say no, but can we stick it for one more?
Yeah.
We'll give you another slice of mango apple pie.
You got it.
I'll even give you a little turkey leg if you stick around.
I can't go back. You can't. It's too much of a dessert. The pizza.
Right.
I can't go back to the turkey.
We're gonna have Anthony Sanfilippo for one more segment so we can get it. I want to know when we get back. I want to talk about the what the mood of the clubhouse was, what the mood of the clubhouse last night, what the mood was like today. Because I know you were on the field in the clubhouse, and then let's get your thoughts on today's team as well, and also the fact that I mentioned it's a tease. I mentioned there's a major player that's not in the lineup today. So I want to get all that with you.
Yep.
All right, we'll talk that. You're listening to the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. We are live from the CP Rankin Club at Citizens Bank Park.
You're listening to 1490 WBCB and on your FM dial at 107.3 W297CL Levittown.
At Penn Community Bank, we're in the business of building thriving communities. That means breaking down the barriers to home ownership, supporting fair, affordable access to housing from Philadelphia to the Lehigh Valley. Like our home opportunity mortgage, that empowers eligible borrowers with no minimum credit score, no down payment, access to grant programs, and so much more. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/home for more details. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply.
Energy costs are skyrocketing. Now's the time to upgrade your old heater and air conditioning systems to more efficient units to save on your utility bills. Harris Comfort can also handle all your propane needs, as well as providing sales and service on all house generators. Harris Comfort is still family-owned and has been serving our area for over 60 years, providing sales, service, installation, and peace of mind. Call 215-788-4596 or go to harriscomfort.com. Harris Comfort, still family and still local.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients.
Wow.
They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, prove it.
We now return to the Baseball Insider Show, presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and former pitcher from the '93 National League champion Phillies, Tommy Greene.
All right, we are back to the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA, live from the CP Rankin Club, Citizens Bank Park. I'm John Brazer, joined by my co-host Tommy Greene. Tommy, consider a career at Septa. Septa relies on and needs bus operators, train engineers, conductors. As a Septa employee, you'll earn competitive compensation and great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription, and a pension. Visit jobs.septa.org to apply today. That's jobs.septa.org. All right.
How good
Anthony
was that,
Sanfilippo was not lying because,
right?
I tried that pizza, and I'm telling you, when I read about it, because I was on TV yesterday, I was on the radio the day before, a couple days before, and I'm talking about all the new food items along with everything else that's going on. And this was obviously, I've been pushing this prominently, but in my head I'm thinking it just doesn't seem right. You got cheese, and
sweet
pizza,
cinnamon, sugar, and apples.
And I love cinnamon, and I love apples.
I love everything on it.
And I love pizza. And so why wouldn't it? But at the same time, it was weird. And then when I looked at it and smelled it, I'm like, ooh. And then when you gave that review, that is absolutely phenomenal.
It's unbelievable. I didn't think I would like it. When you told me about it, when you called me earlier,
right.
I was like, all right, I'll try it for them, but there's no way I'm going to like this. It's phenomenal.
Nice. All right.
It's amazing how something like that goes together.
Yep.
And
is this going to be worked into one of your
we might talk about it. We might talk about it on Crossed Up / Up Phillies.
Well,
we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Maybe if you're nice enough, I'll see if I can get my man over here.
There you go.
Either Manco and Manco Chuck, or we can get John or somebody here to get you some.
That'd be great.
All right. So let's talk about, I mentioned you were talking about let's go last night.
Yeah.
What was the mood like? Because obviously it was tough for Hoffman, for a lot of the guys. For Orion.
Yeah.
For Matt.
It was tough for all of them, and I think that the feeling in that clubhouse was a little bit. And I hate to say this, but it was a little bit like it was the Arizona games at the end of the last season. And it was almost like they were kind of surprised and shocked that they were not better. You have to be able to get past that at this point.
Right.
I mean, there was finality last year. This isn't over
not
by
at all.
any stretch
not
of the imagination.
No.
So, to have that kind of feeling in the locker room or clubhouse after last night's game, that bothered me a little bit, because I think you sit there and go, I shouldn't say they were all like that, because Jeff Hoffman's like, I'm not frustrated. I'm just going to go out and get these guys tomorrow. He even said, let's see how Vientos does with my pitch tomorrow.
Right.
He was direct about it. So he was like the one guy who kind of sloughed it off. But I think that, like everyone else, it was kind of somber in there.
All right, did that change when you were in there this morning? Because obviously, they took BP and you were in there this morning.
So I didn't get to go into the clubhouse this morning because we had the availability in the press room and then out on the field. So it was a little bit different. Like you get to see them in their environment when they're practicing out on the field. And the guys that came into the press conference room were Schwarber and Kerkering, and they didn't seem to be bothered by it. I think that you wake up the next day and you realize, okay, we have another game to play today, and we got to win this game today. I don't think that you're feeling sorry for yourself like maybe they did a little bit last night.
That's the thing, being a ball player. I mean, yeah, you go like last night after the game. It's a time to sort of look back and see what happened, why, and kind of diagnose what the problem was, what each of them's going through that, why was I having trouble, or picking up pitches and stuff like that, because, it's tough to hit when the shadows are like this.
100%. And both teams said that. Like, I don't want people to think that that's a Phillies excuse.
No,
right.
The Mets said it too. The Mets said it was really impossible to see the ball yesterday.
It was tough, but But I mean, going through that, but it's also turn the page type thing. Hey, we got a game tomorrow. Let's get our mind right. Learn from what we did negative today, and work towards the positive.
Now, one of the things too that learning from last year, especially the Arizona series, was that our batters were swinging at a lot of stuff that was outside the strike zone. Chasing.
Yep.
And it seemed like yesterday, for a lot of the hitters,
especially the right-handed hitters.
Right. It was back to that. It was chasing. I mean, that's something that they're going to have to.
You kind of hit on it too. Time of day, shadows play a big deal at picking up spin.
Yeah.
And when you don't pick up spin,
you're just looking at a black dot.
You're just looking.
You can't see the laces.
It's a hit. I mean, it's just you're hoping that you're picking the right pitch, type thing.
Exactly.
I mean, things change. You saw things sort of change when the shadows went away a little bit.
Both teams, even the Phillies had some better plate appearances in the 8th inning, right? In the 9th inning, they both had better plate. Not enough, obviously.
Pitchers love shadows sometimes. Pitchers love shadows.
Well, but they're going to get the same thing today. It's the exact same time. Yeah. It's the same day pretty much as yesterday.
Right. You would like it to be a cloudy day.
Right.
If you're a hitter.
So how do you adjust knowing that situation?
I mean, I think the approach to hitting when it's like when you're struggling hitting, you have to stay up the middle. Right-handers have to stay up the middle to right center. Don't be afraid to get beat in.
Right.
Can't be afraid to get beat. That way it opens up the opportunity. If it's an off-speed pitch, you have possibly an opportunity to adjust to it, and recognize it late that it might be a ball or something out of the zone.
Sure.
I think that's the approach. And, I mean, everything's geared around home runs. I don't know the way they think now. Our guys didn't think about that. It was all about,
making contact.
Putting a good swing on it. I'm pretty sure that's the way they go about it, too. But still, the way they do things, it's geared for the big – we've always been, the last few years, it's been for the big swing.
Yeah, well, Rob Thompson said it. He said, we have to use the field. And that's what he's talking about. He's exactly what Tommy was just saying, is it's not just about taking that home run swing. Go opposite field, right? Hit the ball to the gaps. Hit the ball where it's pitched, basically, and then you will have more success. I mean, obviously you're not going to get a hit every time, but if more often than not, you're going to get out of whatever funk you're in when you can do that and have that approach at the plate.
I think the approach, some of the guys we've talked about over the course of the last few years, Stott was a big guy of using the whole field, and I think Bohm is too.
Yep.
When they're going right, that their approach was so good, and to see them struggle sort of shocks me a little bit sometimes, But I mean, it's those guys like that if you're willing to go the opposite way and use the whole field, they drive pitchers nuts, man.
Yep.
They drive. Take it from me. I mean, they drive you nuts. They're willing to go the other way and do things, but I mean, we have to start doing a better job at getting on base. And however it is, if it's a bunt, if it's
look at the Mets. The Mets they weren't hitting home runs.
Broken bat base hit.
They were making contact,
all
getting
singles.
on base, and then sacrifice flies. And now, did Rob mention today? Obviously there's a big change in and we'll get to the lineup, but Bohm is not in the lineup today. Now Bohm a lot of the year, and he's not in the lineup. Did he address that?
He did, and he said he wanted to get Sosa into the lineup because Sosa brings energy. and that he feels like the team needs that infusion.
Okay.
He said Bohm's been struggling. I think that some of this has to do with Bohm kind of a little bit more. He's been showing his emotion a little bit, which you got to kind of be able to control it, right? You can't take it out into the field with you and let it go from one at bat to the next. Look, Trey Turner had a bad game last night. Trey Turner went and spent 35 minutes in the batting cage right after the game, reviewing his at bats and trying to fix what he was doing wrong. Alec Bohm was sitting with his head in his hands in the clubhouse. It's a big difference there, right, between the two. So I think Rob Thompson looks at it and says, we're not benching him forever.
Right.
There's going to be one game. He'll be back. He even said he'll be back in there on Tuesday for Game 3. Just try and get some energy infused into the lineup, and Sosa brings that.
It hits home a little bit when you still got a young guy. He's a young man playing like that, and he's taking stuff to heart. I mean, and this game can hurt you. You know, it can make you feel bad because nobody wants to let their teammates down or their team down or the city down. They want to go out there and perform well. But you said the words, is controlled emotion. You have to use your emotions in a positive manner to take it. That was the key to me staying in the big leagues.
Right.
Or getting to the big leagues, really. Is to play with that vinegar and learning how, instead of it getting outwardly like that, like you're talking about, and everybody's seeing it, channel it and use it in your way as a positive and let it feed you, It feeds you, and then it helps you not just mentally, physically,
Did he mention, first of all, Austin Hayes. Austin Hayes has not been in the lineup last night or yesterday or today.
Well, I think he'll be in Game 3 because they're going to face a lefty, right? So I think your Marsh will come out at that point, and you're probably going to put Hayes in the outfield. I agree.
Or Marsh could go center field.
He could, but Marsh doesn't get
lefty.
Lefties, right. So I assume it's going to be Hayes and Rojas.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I was a little surprised. I completely get the move to take Bohm out and put Sosa in, but I'm a little surprised that there wasn't a second move to get Hayes into the lineup, even though it's against a righty, and put Marsh in center and Hayes in left, just to add a little bit more offense at the bottom, potential at the bottom of the lineup. That was the one thing that surprised me a little bit. It's not the end of the world. You can always pinch hit for Johan Rojas. Maybe he bats twice in the game, and that's it. So really you're only looking at maybe 2 at-bats out of the entire game, and they value the defense more. But it's the one thing I thought maybe they could do that too.
And I'm guessing everybody in the bullpen is available. Obviously, you've had a lot of time off. And those guys didn't throw tons of pitches.
You got all day tomorrow.
Right, you got all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's let's say Sanchez goes, let's knock on wood. Let's say he pitches 7 great innings. What do you think he's going to?
I think he'll go right back to Hoffman against a right-handed pocket
and right back to Strom against the lefty.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, you could go Alvarado if it's like a one-off against Nimmo.
Right.
Because lefty on left. Strom's actually good against both.
Right.
Right? Yeah. But Alvarado's excellent against lefties. So I could see if it's a tough spot, you got Nimmo coming, maybe you go Alvarado.
Man, he's a pain in the rear, man.
Yeah.
Nimmo is.
That's the only thing I can think of maybe doing it a little bit different there. But otherwise, I think it's going to be those same guys again.
Okay.
I would even think even if Sanchez only goes 6, let's just say.
Right.
You're probably getting Kerkering in the 7th, Strom 8th, or Strom Hoffman, one of them in the 8th.
Estevez, could you see him?
I think he's your closer.
Right.
Right? The one thing about Estevez that I worry a little bit about is he doesn't have a lot of swing and miss.
Right.
He gets guys out with a lot of soft contact, which is impressive. I mean, it's a thing, right? I mean, he pitches to the contact and gets outs that way, but he doesn't strike out a lot of guys. So I think if you need to lock down a 1-run game, I'd much prefer a Hoffman or a Strom in that spot than I would Estevez.
And how are you feeling about today, Sanchez pitching?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of pressure on him now that maybe that the Phillies didn't think they were going to have. I think that the Phillies were kind of hoping they would win Game 1. This would be a comfortable start for Sanchez in front of the home crowd. He pitches great in this ballpark.
That's the way he's got to take it.
Right?
He's got to take it. This is another start for him.
Right.
And it won't be until he throws that first strike in the first inning.
Right.
Then it's a start at home.
If he could get through that first inning, I think he'll be fine.
Well, and you think too with the shadows and the way he's got deception anyway.
That
keeps
changeup
the ball low,
is unbelievable.
So that's gonna be really hard in the shadows. So
yeah.
All right. Well, Anthony, I think you really earned your keep. I think you've earned, if you really want, I don't know. Gus is kind of eyeing up one of the slices. You can take 2 of those slices and maybe leave one for Gus over there.
You got it.
Does that work?
That works for me.
All right.
I love it.
That's our pay scale right there. It's apple
awesome.
pie.
I love it.
Anthony, thank you very much.
Anytime,
really
brother.
appreciate it. All right, that was Anthony Sanfilippo from On Patterson, Snow the goalie, and Crossed Up. All right, coming back, Tommy, we actually haven't given the lineup, and I got to talk about Schwarber too, because Schwarber was a big positive. We haven't gotten to that.
Was.
And we'll get you set up and talk about the game. So you're listening to the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA, live from the CP Rankin Club at Citizens Bank Park.
Community Bank, our commitment to helping our customers and communities grow and thrive drives everything we do.
Hey, brother.
Whether you are just starting out or setting new goals, we have the checking solutions that can flex to your needs at any life stage. And for a limited time, you can earn a $300 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offer subject to change. As for full details, member FDIC.
Energy costs are skyrocketing. Now is the time to upgrade your old heater and air conditioning systems to more efficient units to save on your utility bills. Harris Comfort can also handle all your propane needs, as well as providing sales and service on whole house generators. Harris Comfort is still family owned and has been serving our area for over 60 years, providing sales, service, installation, and peace of mind. Call 215-788-4596 or go to harriscomfort.com. Harris Comfort, still family and still local.
This is Tommy Greene from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. And here's the pitch. BCWSA water and sewer customers, you have a new and improved option to pay your bill that's convenient, reliable, and secure. Powered by Invoice Cloud, you can pay your bill 24/7 online, pay by text or phone, or sign up for AutoPay to avoid fees for late or missed payments. Visit bcwsa.net to sign up or for more info. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
We now return to the Baseball Insider Show, presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and former pitcher from the 93 National League champion Phillies, Tommy Greene.
All right, we are back to the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA, live from the CP Rankin Club at Citizens Bank Park. We've had a lot of fun guests right there. Great food.
Man, this turkey leg is off the chain.
I'm looking at it. I haven't attacked it yet. I'll be doing that afterwards. But you know what, Tommy? We talked about Kyle Schwarber, and I just saw Dan Majani, right, our man right here from Payroll Service Solutions.
Yeah,
so
one of our sponsors.
I think it's time now for the Smart Stat of the Week, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY. We were talking about Kyle Schwarber, and he gave a jolt of energy to the crowd that I thought was going to be the start of something big. But unfortunately, that was really kind of the big highlight offensively.
Yeah, it was something big right off the bat.
Right off the bat. It was unbelievable. So here is your Smart Stat of the Week, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Kyle Schwarber crushed his 5th career postseason leadoff home run, extending his own MLB all-time record. He jumped all over that 1-1 pitch. It went 425 feet with a 115.8 mile per hour exit velocity. That exit velocity was higher than any ball hit by Schwarber, not just on a home run, in the entire regular season. It was also the 3rd highest exit velocity for a home run in Schwarber's postseason career, behind only his 119 mile per hour drive versus Padres in Game 3 of the 2022 NLCS, and its 117 mile per hour shot against the Diamondbacks in the opener of last year's
All right, Brazer, I got something to say about that. Whoever's doing the measuring of that thing is wrong.
Is that right?
Because I watched it.
And
I was there.
It was
down the right field line.
About the mile per hour or about the feet?
The distance.
Okay.
You know, that thing hit. It was still getting it.
It was still going.
Hey, and how far is it to that point where he went over? That was a good, like, 150 feet more. I mean, 100. It had to be 120 feet more. It would have went do it hit the ground?
Right. I don't know,
dude. It was still getting it. I mean, I don't know who's measuring that, but it's way further than 425.
Unbelievable. So that was your Philly Smart Stat of the Week. Once again, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Call them again at 1-866-PAY-EASY. All right, Tommy. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready for more of this turkey leg.
We are going to give you, while you're eating that turkey leg, we're going to give you the lineups here. All right? So for the mutts, okay, the stinking mutts, the lineup is.
I like the way you say that, Brace.
Thank you. Lindor batting, leading off. Pretty much it looks a lot like yesterday, but actually a little changes towards the end.
Yeah.
Lindor leading off, Vientos playing shortstop, Vientos batting second, playing third base. Nemo, be interesting, he's left-handed, see how he does. Is left fielder, batting third.
He's a gamer, man.
Pete Alonso batting fourth, first base. Iglesias batting fifth, playing second base. J.D. Martinez in the lineup.
J.D. there, huh?
DHing. Starling Marte's batting seventh, playing right field. Alvarez catching, batting eighth. And then they've got Harrison Bader batting ninth, playing center field. So that's Lindor, Vientos, Nemo, Alonso, Iglesias, Martinez, Marte, Alvarez, Bader. And how they've done against Sanchez. Lindor is 3 for 9 in his career.
Yeah.
Vientos 0 for 7. Nemo is 4 for 13, so that's all pretty good.
Yeah.
Alonso 4 for 18, not good, 222, but he's hit a home run.
Yeah.
Iglesias 3 for 6 with a home run.
Yeah.
Martinez 2 for 7, doesn't have a home run. Marte 4 for 11 with a home run. Alvarez 0 for 4, Bader 2 for 6.
Well, Sanchez pitches to contact a lot. He throws strikes.
Yep.
He gets a lot of ground balls and stuff
He does.
too. So he gives up some hits, but he also gets a lot of double plays.
I'm feeling good about Sanchez.
So.
All right, the Fightin' Phils lineup. Schwarber leading off. Let's hope for another leadoff bomb, and he can extend his Major League Baseball record. But he is leading off, playing DH, or doing DH.
Yeah.
Turner batting second, shortstop. Harper playing first, batting third. Castellanos in the cleanup hole, right field, batting fourth. Stott batting fifth, second base. JT Realmuto batting sixth, catching. Brandon Marsh playing left field, batting seventh. Sosa, as we mentioned, is batting eighth, playing third. And then Rojas batting ninth and playing center field. All right, here's what they've done against Severino. Schwarber is 3 for 10. No home runs. Turner, 1 for 5 with a home run. How about this one? Harper, 2 for 5 with 2 home runs. How about that?
Big swings right there.
Castellanos, 7 for 21. Pretty good. Stott, 1 for 5. JT, 0 for 3. I'm surprised JT hasn't played him more, but I guess.
Yeah.
And then Marsh, 1 for 4. And Sosa and Rojas have not faced him.
Yeah.
So that again is Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Castellanos, Stott, Realmuto, Marsh, Sosa, and Rojas. What do you think?
Well, I mean, we got to see ball, put good swings on ball. The big thing is seeing it today. I mean, because obviously the shadows play a factor for both teams, and so it's about taking advantage of the situations when they make a mistake, and we got to do that. We got to put bat on ball. We can't afford to miss those mistakes all the time. So
Severino is 11-7 on the season, 3.91 ERA, got 161 strikeouts. On the road, his road stats 4-5 with a 5 ERA. Let's hope that continues. His against Philadelphia, he's pitched 12 innings pitched, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 home runs. So let's hope we can continue that.
Keep on the good mojo with that.
Severino, because we are going to be going up against some lefties in New York. We'll be up against Quiones and Minaya. Yep. So this is a big one.
Manaya's been good. So.
All right. So Tom, just this playoff atmosphere. I love. I believe Citizens Bank Park. Unfortunately, we're not on we lost the last 3 playoff games here.
Yeah.
But it's not due to the fans. The fans have been crazy. I love the pregame that we had yesterday. We had the giant American flag. We had the members of the military and the police and the firemen out there. We had a beautiful national anthem sung by Nikisha Williams, who's playing the.
Had a big time block party going on out there.
Big block party and big tailgating out there. Yep, out on CB Way with a Ferris wheel and all kinds of excitement. And how about throwing out the first pitches yesterday? Were your old teammates on that '93 World Series team, Kevin Stocker and Larry Anderson.
How about that? The old boys getting out there.
How about that?
Hey, Larry might still be able to pitch. You never know with him.
Well, I think he said he threw a knuckle. I missed it. I don't know what I was doing.
That was me when I threw a knuckleball.
But he threw a knuckleball when he threw.
Yeah.
Right? And then today, we're running it back today with the flag and all the, we're about to get started at 3:30. But you know who's throwing out the first pitch today? He's no longer a host on WBCB, but his name is still tied to the show, which you'll be doing tomorrow.
Yes, I'll be doing
You're
tomorrow.
You're actually filling in for this guy tomorrow. You've done it for a lot of the years.
Yes, I have.
Greg the Bull Luzinski.
The Bull.
So
I wonder if he's been working on that a little
well,
bit.
you know, he's had some hip surgery, right?
He's going to shorten up a little bit. He's going to shorten the distance up a little bit.
Think he'll do it? Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
How about Bull? Bull, I think I've told this, but I'll say it again. Greg Luzinski, I bring by celebrities all the time to his, right when he's hanging out at Bull's Barbecue.
Bull's Barbecue.
Hey, Greg, this is Art Garfunkel. Hey, Greg, this is so-and-so. And he's like, and it takes him about a minute to warm up, right? Then
you know how Bull is.
And then eventually he kind of warms up. Next thing you know, he's hugging him, getting pictures, everything, right? But it's almost like, it's like my wife when she wakes up. She needs coffee to get her going. Right?
I don't even know. I don't even hear words. There's some growling going on in my house.
Wendy's not a morning person.
She's a growler.
All right, so that's Bull. You got to get him worked in. And
you got to warm up to it. You got to get him warmed up a little bit.
There was only one celebrity that I brought by him that he lit up and was all excited and literally was like
Who
a
was
kid.
That?
It was the Wiggles. The Wiggles. They were in their uniform in red and blue and green and yellow, and I brought him over there and I said, there's no way he knows who these people are, and I literally was about to say, hey, I couldn't even get the words out. I was about to say, hey, Greg, and next thing you know, Bull goes, oh my God, the Wiggles. He said the Wiggles, and I'm
the big old Bull.
And I said, what world am I in?
Right? Little kid.
What world am I in that Greg Luzinski is all excited about the Wiggles?
He turned into a little kid.
Well, it turns out that he watched the Wiggles with his grandkids.
Yeah.
And he was all excited because he used to watch it all the time. He knew who the Wiggles were, and he was super excited. So who would know that the guy throwing out the first pitch of Game 2 of the NLDS would be a big fan of the Wiggles, Greg Luzinski. So we hope he does well. All right, final thoughts as we're kind of coming towards the end. This is obviously a big one because if we need to split this one. Then you know what? You split this one right here at home. Then even if you just get one out of the two in New York, and then I'll take my chances coming back here Friday night with Zach Wheeler on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to get too far ahead because we got to take care of business today.
Right.
We got to win this one, find out, do what we need to do to scratch out the win here today. Hopefully it won't come down to us having to worry about scoring any more runs. Maybe we'll get off to a good start and score a bunch of runs, and that's the way, we're due for that, I think, a little bit.
We are due. I'm waiting for us to have a big breakout.
I'm thinking positive on that thing, us coming back and doing things, not just the big home runs, but hitting the baseball and doing the things, moving runners and doing things, taking extra base. And,
putting pressure.
Yeah, putting pressure on them, make them make mistakes.
And we can steal bases against these guys. I mean, so if we get guys on base, then we can start forcing the issue with, with our speed, right? And I don't think Alvarado is a very, particularly a great, throwing out or base stealer. So,
no, I mean, we just got to play solid baseball, and we just haven't swung the bat like we're capable of. Yeah, we've had a 5-day layoff or whatever from the end of the season. I think that could be a good thing to help some people's health to get a little bit more healthy in those 5 days, and it's a breath of fresh air for some guys that might need it.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, now it's go time. And yesterday we didn't get the job done. Today we need to get the job done.
All right, so I think I'm hearing you saying that there's going to be a breakout.
Yeah,
there's going to be an offensive breakout.
That's what I think. Yesterday they got their the foot in the water, got a little burnt a little bit now.
Let's hope you are right, because we'll know that starting in a half an hour.
Yep.
All right, that wraps up today's Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA live from CP Rank Club, Citizens Bank Park. Thanks to my co-host Tommy Greene, our on-site engineer Gus Barber, back in the studio Brooks St. Ives, and thanks also to our guests today, Anthony Sanfilippo, Jason Firestone, and Scott Hartnell. We'll be hopefully back next Sunday for another playoff Baseball Insider Show. Keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, that would be great.